being. And I'm here today because it's March. And March is a brand new month offering us a brand new start. March, though, is different than other months because it literally offers us a brand new start because it's the month of spring. Right now, we are still under the heavy thumb of what I have started calling Mercury tirade because this retrograde has been quite a journey, to put it mildly. And it's as though Mercury was on some sort of tear and determined to show everyone that it rules. And it has confused, it has obliterated, it has created confusion, doubt. It's really screwed us over with issues about communication, about travel, about plans, about everything we knew or thought we knew. However, I'm sure this is for a higher reason, but that doesn't mean I like the process of finding out what that reason is. I am obedient to it because we all have to be. So I'm just keeping my light on my helmet on and listening to everything intuitively. And that light on my helmet is my third eye, just as yours is. So listen and watch, observe from an intuitive perspective, and take it easy. Don't make any sudden decisions and don't sign any papers for anything if you can help it. And if you have to sign papers, make sure you get it checked by 2 or 3 experts first. And try and sign papers only if you have to, and only if they have a good out clause for you. Whatever plans you make, check them at least 3 times. Whatever reservations you've made, whatever trips you're planning to take before you leave for the airport, the bus station, the train depot, check 3 times. That'll help. And just go with a light heart and a light attitude because things are going to happen. You just don't want to be knocked out by them. So on that note, we're going to move into March. So we'll start with March 3rd. March 3rd, the planet Venus, the planet of relationships, the planet of value, especially self-value, a planet related to both money and to related to health, will be in the sign of, it is in the sign of Aries. Venus in Aries is very aggressive about what it wants. It's very passionate about its life. It's very hands-on about its involvement with whomever and whatever it chooses to be involved with. And this is a great thing. However, this squares makes an abrasive aspect to good old Saturn in Capricorn. Saturn rules the rules. Aries is fast, and Saturn is not so fast. Aries is, I want it because I want it, and Saturn is, what use does it have to us? What good will it do you to get this thing that you want? What good will it do all of us for you to get this thing that you want? Explain it to me. Aries doesn't have words for what it wants, and Saturn requires words in order to give you what you want. So when this comes up between Venus in the sign of I want what I want now, and Aries, and Saturn in the sign of and your reasons for and why. Saturn is the big because word in its own sign of Capricorn. You are going to most likely run into situations, people, circumstances where things will not go as quickly as you want, things will not go as smoothly as you want, and things will not necessarily go the way you envisioned. However, there you can negotiate because Saturn did tell you, I need some becauses. Not so fast. But Saturn, wherever Saturn is, the old traditional way of looking at Saturn is, oh, there will be loss, there is lack, you will be unhappy. But that's not so. Saturn also rules success and wealth and riches. So all Saturn requires is that you negotiate. And so you begin to, if you want something and you want it now, let's see if we can negotiate with the circumstances as they show up for us. And if you negotiate, you'll find that wonderful place where Saturn gets what it wants, reasoning, and Venus gets what it wants, which is basically what it wants. By taking the action, because Aries rules the actions we need to take, by taking the actions needed in the way those actions need to be taken in order to produce the desired result. Very simple. Otherwise, if you listen to the more traditional understandings of this particular aspect, you'll be freaking out and pulling your hair out. Not necessary. It's about negotiation. It's about observation. So the next thing we look at is on March 4th. Now you know that Mercury is going backwards. So it's in Pisces now. And on March 4th, it's going to go back into the sign Aquarius. Wow. Well, that gives us a chance to do over because retrogrades are do over times. So that gives us a time to do over. What was that idea you had? What was that brilliant thing you were going to do? What was that issue or energy you were going to deal with now? And Aquarius is what is unique. Aquarius is what is brilliant. Aquarius is what is crazy. Crazy isn't necessarily bad. Crazy is just that thing you hadn't thought of in that way. It can be very viable. Now ask yourselves, in a perfect world, in a more perfect world, would what I'm thinking be viable? And then if the answer is yes, now begin to tailor it for the world we live in, which as we all know is not perfect. The retrograde Mercury going back into Aquarius challenges us to say, is what I'm thinking of, planning of, hoping for, wanting, is that so-called realistic? In other words, can it be done? Or is that me just living in the land of illusion? It might be. But everything we have on this planet came from the illusion, including the cell phones we are so crazy about these days, including this marvelous thing called the internet, including driving. All of the things that we're used to doing and we take for granted came about because somebody had a dream or an illusion. And then they learned to put the right way of thinking and then the right action and use the right tools and the right materials to make it so. So as Mercury goes back into Aquarius, it's also asking, do you have an old idea? Do you have something that you've always wanted to bring forward? Do you have another way of looking at how to better humanity's perception of itself? And by that I mean, how can we be better people? Do you have a way of doing that? Even small ways to big ways, because all big things did start out small. So what can you do to make your world, to make the world, a better, nicer, kinder place? One that supports you, one that supports everyone around you. What can you do without giving your power away? What can you do without coming across as a victim? What can you do to fully participate in your life that honors you and honors all of us? This retrograde Mercury going back into Aquarius is stirring the coals. Where can I heat up that wonderful idea I had, that great thought or feeling I had, so that I can distribute that in a positive way in my world? Then we move on to March 5th. Wow. Venus, the planet of relationships, the planet of value, especially self-value, the planet related to health, and the planet related to money. Venus on March 5th will be entering the sign of Taurus. It'll be going into its own sign. When a planet goes into its own sign, it has more power. It has more depth. It has more reach. So this is a great thing. Taurus is about the fundamentals. Taurus is about being grounded. Taurus is about wealth of all kinds, wealth of spirit, wealth of wallet, wealth of energy. So when Venus enters Taurus, it's a great time to take out your shopping list of wants. If you want more peace on earth, What kind of work? Because earth signs, Taurus is an earth signs say, what are you going to do to bring this about? So if you want more peace on earth, what are you going to do in your corner of the world to bring this about? If it's, I want more wealth in my wallet, well, what are you going to do to bring this about? Well, I don't want wealth for wealth's sake, but I do love those emerald earrings. Great. What are you going to do to make sure you honestly, rightfully become the owner and wearer of these beautiful emerald earrings? So Venus in Taurus, how can I value myself better? What do I need to accept about myself that is good and grand? Who am I, according to the universe, with this wonderful gift of Venus in Taurus? Not who I've decided I must be because these things happened or these people said these things, but who am I? Not who do I dare to be, because that's more of somebody else's judgment on you, but who am I? What wonderful urge from the divine creator produced me? That's who you are. And this is a great time to look at that, especially this month, because this month's theme is opportunity, and opportunity about everything. This is the end of a cycle and the beginning of a cycle. Every March is. But this month especially is opportunity. And the key phrase for this month is carpe vitam. That means seize life and go for it. So it's very exciting that Venus in Taurus, which is how we value anything, is telling us value from the highest perspective for yourself and go for it. Be grounded, make plans, take proper action, and accept nothing less. Then on March 8th, we have two big conjunctions. A conjunction is a power force of two or more planets. So they're bringing their energy to the table and they work as one, a partnership. One of them is the sun, the giver of life, the life force, will be conjunct Neptune. And Neptune is in its own sign of Pisces. Well, when the sun makes any aspect to Neptune, what is obviously clear, where the light of the sun shines down on something, when Neptune comes in, Neptune is the fog. When Neptune comes in, you don't see so clearly. And what is obvious is not so obvious when Neptune is involved with the sun. You have to trust your intuition. But since the sun rules the heart, maybe if you can't see because there's just too much fog in the way, you can feel and intuit. So you're being told with Neptune conjunct the sun, especially on March 8th, as we approach it, maybe a couple of days after, does it feel right to you? Does it feel good for you to be here doing this, or listening to this, or participating in this? Does it feel good or safe for you to be with this person or in this situation? If it does not, let's not try and reason with it. Get out, move on, leave it behind. If it feels good, take tentative steps into it. Remember, you're dealing with the fog. You can't drive the stated speed limit. It says 55 on this road. When there's fog, you've got to slow it down to 10, 15, maybe 20 if you're daring. And you've got to take it literally a bit at a time. The other conjunction, the other power force, and it's powerful, is Venus, that Venus that's recently moved into its own sign of Taurus, in the planet Uranus, which is uncontrollable, unpredictable, unexpected. Oh my God, change. And it is also genius, and it's also help from friends that you didn't know you had, as well as friends you knew you had. It is the weird, wonderful wildness of life to show up as it shows up. So you'll have Venus together with Uranus in the sign of Taurus. Things are going to happen. Unpredictable things will happen. Unexpected things will happen. Some of them will be exactly what you want, right what you always thought, and you always thought you needed and wanted. Some of them will not be as pleasant. Learn to laugh and to roll with the punches, because you got not only Venus together with Uranus, your value system connected with anything can happen, you've also got your life force, the sun, together with Neptune, the fog. So you've got the sun, the fog, the brightness of the sun, the murkiness of the fog, the desire of Venus, and the crazy activity of Uranus. And they're all going to be in there together. You need to be grounded and centered. Ask for what you want, be willing to have it come from any place, and slow it down and approach your objective and your life from this speed. And you'll see what happens. I can't predict what'll happen because Uranus is involved. So is Neptune. But I can tell you this, if you go about it this way, you're going to have some great surprises. You're going to love who you become and what happens for you as you participate with all of these energies. The next thing we're looking at is March 9th. As you can see, March is starting out with a whole lot going on. March 9th, full Virgo moon. Okay, 3 days before, March 6th, 3 days after, March 12th. That's the range of a full or a new moon. Please remember to set your cup or your glass of water in the window so that it absorbs the energy of that full moon so that you will have moon water to drink, moon water to pour in your plants, moon water to perhaps wash with. This full moon water has been charged, energetically charged with the culmination of all of these powerful energies of our universe, of everything that's been happening. And it gives you a lot of positive energy. That is nature's own energy drink. Make yourself some moon water. You also need to understand that Virgo is about the details. Well, the full moon blows things up. Full moon expands things. So that full moon wants you to pay attention to the details. That full Virgo moon, pay attention to the details. Pay attention to the instructions that you get with whatever it is you need to put together. Some instructions are printed out, easy to follow. Some, it's just your experience in life, but pay attention to these things. Pay attention to perhaps the unglamorous, but the necessary. Pay attention to the mundane, and it'll give you a great reward. If you don't, it's a full moon, that can happen. You don't want that to happen. Certainly not with Virgo, because when the full moon is in Virgo, it does not like a mess, and it finds you for the messes that are created. So you watch the details, you drink your moon water, and if you just take it a step at a time, you'll be fine. And then we move on to March 10th, the day we've been waiting for. On some locales, it might be late on March 9th, but let's just call it March 10th for safety's sake. March 10th, Mercury goes direct. Thank goodness. That means we can again resume or begin to resume our normal pace. The 24 or so days that Mercury has been retrograde, those 24 gave us an opportunity to redo, retreat, research, rethink. Sometimes we didn't really need that lesson, or so we think. The universe thought we did. In any case, I don't know too many people who voted for a Mercury retrograde state, but we all on some level benefit from it. So give yourself the opportunity to, March 10th, review the changes you've gone through and see where you did grow, where you could have done more, where you will do more. Allow yourself an opportunity to just take a look and then put the car into drive and notice that the fog has lifted and that the highway is clear and there's no traffic, and take it up to 55 miles an hour. So your plans are truly going to be supported. And the next thing we encounter from March 11th to the 14th is opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. Opportunity involving the sun, life force, Jupiter, luck, blessings and expansion, travel, Mars, how we get things done, Neptune, spirituality and illusion, and Pluto, power and transformation and passion. That's a lot that we've put into the salad bowl. It's your privilege to make whatever salad you want. That's a lot of power. And it's in your bowl. When opportunity comes up, you're holding the salad bowl. It can take the form you want it to take, and put it in your bowl, and let's see what all of those forces, let's see what they can make. What kind of salad do you have? Do you like a few raisins in your salad? Put a few raisins in. That changes the taste of the salad and the name of the salad. Do you like anchovies? No. Let's take those anchovies out. That changes the taste and the name of the salad. So let's take a look and see what you can do. What kind of salad are you making as we end the seasonal year? What have you been making? What are you making now? What do you plan or want to make? And those 3 days, well, 11, 12, 13, and 14, those 4 days, give you an opportunity to adjust your salad according to what you want, according to what you're looking for. And as you adjust your salad according to what you're looking for, you create a delicious and nurturing concoction. Enjoy the opportunity. There's great power in it. The next thing we're looking at is March 16th. Mercury goes back into Pisces. Now, when the retrograde began, it was in Pisces, then it went into Aquarius, and now it's back in Aquarius. When it goes back into when it goes back into Pisces, you go back into a more intuitive state, a state that is more intuitively funded, intuitively powered, intuitively supported and encouraged. So that means your mind, your logical mind can work, but it's your intuitive self that feeds that logical mind. The logical mind will be serving your intuition, figuring out how to make these wonderful intuitive thoughts or ideas or information, how to make all of that happen down here on planet Earth. That's a great use of the intuition. Logic can serve it. So Mercury going back into Pisces is there to serve you in making your dreams come true. It's a good time to observe who is a truth teller in your life and who is not. And people don't always have to be intentionally lying to you, but a lie is a lie, or something that isn't true is not true. The objective here is not for you to call them out on it necessarily, but for you to know. So let's take a look and go forward with our own honesty. Then a day comes up that says, wow, winter is over. We have ended the day before the seasonal old year, and we will now begin, as of this day, the seasonal new year. And that day, in most locales, is March 20th, and a few March 19th because of time. But March 20th, it's spring. It's the equinox. It's called the vernal equinox. And when the equinox comes, it means that the day and the night are equal length. We get an equinox twice a year, in the spring and in the fall. And so this is the vernal equinox. And during the vernal equinox, it is a time too to set out a cup for water, the water and energy of the sun and moon being of equal length, or equal duration. And let's drink that and celebrate balance. Let's drink that and celebrate cooperation and relationship. Celebrate the things that are possible, because now with spring, new life is budding. New life, all things are possible. Then we move on to more opportunity. Mercury, the planet of communication. Uranus, the planet of genius. Be a great time for insights. Venus, the planet of relationships. Neptune, the planet of spirit and soul. This will be a great time to see who's really a soulmate. By the way, soulmate is not necessarily a lover. Your pet can be a soulmate. Who comes along and teaches you something? Who comes along and loves you unconditionally? Who comes along and assists you on your journey? A soulmate. Mars, on the 23rd of March, right after right after the equinox, the spring equinox, Mars, the planet Mars, how we get things done, comes into contact, conjuncts Pluto. Mars is the baby brother to Pluto. Pluto is a force to be reckoned with. Pluto is the X-ray vision. Pluto is the power. And so Mars and Pluto come together in the sign of Capricorn. Mars is best in the sign of Capricorn. This is a day, I would say that the week of March, say 17th to March 25th, is a week, whatever you want to do, whatever you think you can do it then, because that's going to be a very powerful week. Energetically, you're going to be really funded with a lot of power. And it's a time when the universe rarely, if ever, in that time says no to you. On March 22nd comes a day that every Capricorn is really happy about. At least this one is. Saturn, as you know, is the planet of wisdom. It's the planet of rules. Saturn rules the rules. It rules wisdom. It rules experience. Saturn rules delays, but it rules certainty. Saturn rules lack, but lack in order to show you how to find bounty. So Saturn rules riches and success and rewards and awards. Well, Saturn is going to leave its own sign, Capricorn. And remember, when a planet is in its own sign, wow, there's just no way there's going to be anything that's going to dilute that pure mix of whatever that planet is about when it's in its own sign. So it's been in Capricorn, its own sign. Saturn in any sign doesn't need the help of being in its own sign. Well, if you're a Capricorn, not only is Saturn in its own sign, Saturn is in your sign. And when Saturn is in your sign, wow, you are asked to be a good little soldier. Not somebody who doesn't think for themselves, but you're you're asked only because that's what it sounds like you're ordered to be. That person who needs to show up. Show up for yourself with no excuses. The dog might have eaten the homework. What have you done to produce it in time for this class? That's Saturn. Saturn, though, is Saturn in its own sign for Capricorn. It's been a great time of rewards and awards. It's been a phenomenal time. If you haven't been doing what you were supposed to do, not so much. But if you've been doing what you're supposed to do, wow, look at what I've accomplished. Look at who I've become. Well, Saturn, as of March 22nd, is going to move into Aquarius and give you Aquarians that wonderful opportunity. And it is a wonderful opportunity. It's just very no frills. Now, Capricorns know that if they have to, they can buckle down and they can do that Saturn thing. Aquarius, not at all. Aquarius does not like you to. It's in the Aquarian nature that if you tell them to go left, because if they go right, they'll walk off a cliff, you've got to sometimes say to them, I'm serious, that's a cliff. Let me show you the Google aerial view. That's a cliff. Because Aquarius likes to do things their own way. Well, Saturn is going to enter Aquarius on March 22nd. The beauty of that is Aquarius is ruled by two planets. One, Uranus, the planet of unexpected, uncontrollable happenings, and Saturn. So Saturn is the co-ruler of Aquarius. So mature Aquarians will understand that following the rules doesn't mean that they no longer have power, that they're no longer their own person. It means that right now, following the rules, that's the best way to remain free, because an Aquarius must be free. So for you Aquarians out there, it's okay to follow the rules. As long as you understand you're helping yourself to remain free. For the rest of us, when Saturn goes into Aquarius, those great, wonderful ideas you have that are crazy and that, my God, who could have thought of that? Great time to help manifest those ideas. Saturn, manifestation of the material form, in the sign of Aquarius, the greatest wild idea you can possibly have. Wow, the internet is ruled by Aquarius. Somebody sat down and said, how do we harness all this? Harness Saturn. How do we harness all this so that we can use Saturn, so that we can use it? So this is a time when your ideas can become the reality that we're living in. You want to give yourself permission to be the genius, because that's what Aquarius rules, to be the genius you truly are. That means you're going to have to go against the norm sometimes, because Aquarius rules rebels. But with Saturn and Aquarius, a rebel with a cause, a rebel with a plan, rebel with an intention, and you'll get there successfully. So then we move on to March 24th, when we have the first new moon of the seasonal new year. March 24th, the new moon in Aries. Great time to make out a list of 6 things. 6 is the number of the gift. 6 things you want. You want this seasonal year to bring you. This year, I want. Better than saying I want, because that kind of makes it a distance from you. Let's put it this way. 6 years, this year, the 6 things I have, the 6 things I am. Let's put it in the present tense. I have, I am. 6 things you really, really are. If you want it on some level, you are it. So why not just bring it out? Be it. Be it now. And let's get that together with the energy. Again, hope you set the cup out, because moon water. This is new moon water. This is perhaps the most powerful new moon of the year, because it's fully charged. It's ready. And like I said, this is the March spring is life. It's a season of life. Just look at the trees, look at the flowers, listen to the birds. Give this life to what you want and give it permission to grow. And it's going to be a phenomenal time. And then we have, on the 30th, the final thing I'll talk about. There are 2 things. The planet Mars rules how we get things done, leaves the sign of Capricorn, and it leaves the sign of Capricorn on the 30th of March, which means that Mercury, the planet Mercury, is going to be exactly where it was when it went retrograde in the first place in February. So that is a very powerful place to be. So you're moving forward now from some old stuff. You're truly moving forward on the day when Mars, moving forward, enters the sign of Aquarius, which is huge, because you never know with Aquarius. However, what you can do and what you can know is that Mars originally, Mars in the sign of Aquarius is something unusual and wild can happen, and it takes us into a better future if we will let it. And if we will let it means, where is my heart truly? What am I thinking? How am I thinking? How am I focusing? Because this is a day of creation. It is a day of power. It's a day of seeing the actual manifestation of your intentions. The other thing, and the last big event of the month, is that Mars that I was just speaking about. That Mars, how we get things done in the sign of freedom and uniqueness in Aquarius, is together and conjunct. Guess what else happened on that day? Saturn is conjunct. Saturn is in Aquarius. So that Mars in Aquarius is now conjunct Saturn in Aquarius. There's not going to be any standing still. Now, Mars and Saturn, Mars, you like to drive down the highway at 85, I get it. Saturn is that cop a little bit down the ways. It doesn't like you to drive at 85. But the speed limit is 65. It's not as good or as delicious as 85. 65 is good. That's what Saturn, the cop, will accept. So drive your 65. And maybe if you're on one of those stretches in the desert where you can see for miles either way, take it up to 85. But you need to know where you are, and you need to know the rules of the road and the lay of the land before you become the rebel because you want to win. You don't want to be a rebel who loses. You want to be a rebel who wins. So with the transiting the new Mars in Aquarius and the new sign in the new Saturn in Aquarius, you want to take action that will bring about your objectives. Your objectives are stated by Saturn. This is the thing I want to manifest in my life. Mars is the action I'm going to take to make sure it happens. Aquarius is also the sign of friends. So Mars is in Aquarius. The action you take is going to bring you into alignment with all kinds of friends. Friends you know you have, friends you didn't know you had. Friends for a lifetime or friends for just this minute when I need it. You know, a friend isn't necessarily somebody you've known since grammar school. A friend can be that person who turns and gives you that thing you need right now and you never see them again. So whenever we're dealing with Aquarius, we're also dealing with friends or like-minded people showing up to help you. Saturn is in the sign of those friends and like-minded people. Whatever you are benefited with is of value and you can use to make your life, certainly the month of March and the spring, which is several months long, you can make that new beginning for this new seasonal year profitable. You can make it fun. You can make it passionate. And you can definitely make it your own. Because remember, we're now talking about Mars, how we get things done, and Saturn, how we manifest things in the sign Aquarius, the sign of uniqueness and originality. You are a unique, unusual, original, one of a kind being. And it was planned that way because the universe, God only needed one of each of us to create the perfection that we are. And where we're going, especially this month, is asking us to examine and see if we will acknowledge, if we will recognize, and if we will operate from from the perfection that we are, not from the fear of what we are not, but from the perfection that we are. In other words, will we be honest with ourselves? In other words, will we take the risks to do what we need to do? And sometimes those risks involve, get this, self-examination. That's the last risk anybody signs up for. And that's the most important risk. Look at yourself. And if you need help with that, if you need therapeutic help with that, if you need to speak to your minister about that, if you need to talk to your imam about that, if you need to talk to your priest about that, if you need to talk to your goddess circle about that, do it because it needs to be done. If you'll look within this marvelous time of Saturn and Mars going into Aquarius, you will see all of your strengths and all of your gifts, and you'll be able to use them to create the life you were meant to live. And that's it for March. Have a great time. Do fabulous things. Happy spring.